Thanks for joining me again. I have to share some troubling news about layoffs within Montgomery County Public Schools that I had hoped to avoid when I presented my recommended budget in March. I advocated for a modest property tax increase to fully fund the MCPS budget request. I did that because after years of trying unsuccessfully to get the council to move to a tax structure like the one in DC and Northern Virginia, which would have let us raise more money from commercial property and take the pressure off of residential property. I also tried to introduce in this budget growth districts to increase revenue from commercial properties along our busiest corridors. And for several years, I've lobbied repeatedly our state lawmakers to allow the counties to establish special taxing districts so we could raise new revenue without impacting residential property taxes. We haven't been successful. Unfortunately, the council didn't support that legislation when it was in front of the state legislature. We need their support. Let's be honest about this. The council's support of this budget was not enough. Dr. Thomas Taylor and his team still face $36 million of a gap to close. Here's the thing about school budgets that people sometimes forget. 90% of the money is in people, teachers, counselors, and staff. There's no magic line item you can trim that doesn't touch someone's job or some kid's classroom. Dr. Taylor has been clear that he's going to try to keep cuts as far away from the classroom as possible. I believe he'll try, but there's no way to close this gap, particularly a gap of this size, without real consequences. The other thing I want people to understand is this isn't a one-time problem. Because MCPS had to use one-time money to balance this year's budget, they're already starting next year in a hole. Before a single decision gets made for FY28, they're already behind. That should concern all of us. More than 70% of MCPS employees live right here in Montgomery County. They pay taxes here, they shop here, they're our neighbors. The idea that what happens to their pay and their jobs is somehow separate from the health of the rest of the community, that's just wrong. Their economic stability is our community stability. None of this is easy, including standing behind a property tax increase. Believe me, I know. When I proposed my budget, I said the money generated by raising property taxes was needed not for new programs or initiatives, but to pay for school needs. That's increased compensation to retain the talent we have. It's a shame because the people running our schools and teaching our kids deserve better than to have to justify their value every single budget season. They shouldn't have to fight this hard every year just to do their jobs. It's been a little over 2 weeks since the state of Maryland began alerting everyone about the error made by its contractor that initiated a reprint of every mail-in ballot in the state. To put it simply, the state's mail-in ballot vendor made a printing error that caused some voters to receive ballots with the wrong party affiliation. Because the vendor couldn't pinpoint exactly who received the incorrect ballots, the State Board of Elections took the only step that ensures the integrity of our vote. They sent replacement ballots, marked as replacement ballots, to every voter who requested one by mail prior to the error. Postcards were sent out alerting voters to the situation, and many of those voters have already received their replacement ballots. Look for an envelope marked replacement ballot inside. On the front of the envelope, here's what you need to know to make sure your vote counts. Discard the first ballot that came in the mail. Use the new ballot that says replacement ballot. Return it as soon as you filled it out. You can use any of the 58 ballot drop boxes located throughout Montgomery County. Places like the Silver Spring Civic Building, the Activity Center at Borough Park, or your nearest high school. These boxes are available until 8 p.m. on Election Day, Tuesday, June 23rd. You can also mail it back. If you choose to use the USPS during the final week, please take your ballot to the post office to have it hand postmarked by the 23rd to ensure it is considered timely. The sorting and verification of mail-in ballots began this week through the Board of Elections, and early voting begins soon. For more on preparations ahead of the primary, please check my weekly media briefing, which featured board members Lawrence Halloran and David Naiman. You can also visit Board of Elections directly by going to 777vote.org. I'm proud to share some of this great news with our community regarding our ongoing commitment to sustainability and affordability. Montgomery County government has secured $8.3 million in grant funding as part of a larger $56.8 million statewide investment recently announced by Governor Wes Moore. These funds, administered through the Maryland Energy Administration, are dedicated to local government energy modernization, LGEM projects, which will help us upgrade our government infrastructure while lowering costs for our residents. The money will support 20 clean energy and energy efficiency projects here. The LGEM award, combined with local cost share investments, will save taxpayers an estimated $439,000 in annual energy costs and generate more than $11 million in long-term savings. Projects earmarked for this money will provide solar-powered backup systems at the recreation centers and community facilities, add to the county's Resilience Hub and Microgrid initiative, expand solar energy projects on Montgomery Park's property, improve safety, lighting, and energy efficiency in public parking facilities. The governor also announced grant awards to Montgomery County Public Schools with $2.1 million for clean energy and energy efficiency. Clean energy investments will include solar and geothermal systems. And the municipalities of Rockville and Tacoma Park received awards for energy audits and energy retrofits. And several nonprofits in the county won awards for energy modernization projects. The investment is a significant step in our mission to meet the rising demand for energy. Using this MEA grant money to focus on energy efficiency in our public buildings reduces our carbon footprint and directly cuts government utility bills, resulting in overall savings to taxpayers. These MEA grant-funded projects are expected to deliver substantial results, contributing to a massive reduction in lifetime greenhouse gas emissions across Maryland. Beyond the environmental benefits, these grants stimulate our local economy by driving demand for green jobs and ensuring our energy grid remains reliable for generations to come. We're excited to put these dollars to work and to create a cleaner, more affordable future for everyone in this county. Montgomery County continues to lead on climate action, and now we have updated data to show our progress and where we need to go. This week we shared results from the Metropolitan Council of Governments and an analysis of community-wide greenhouse gas emissions. In March of 2026, MWCOG published its community-wide greenhouse gas emissions inventory summaries, which provided inventories for all 24 local governments in the Metro, DC, and Northern Virginia region, including Montgomery County. This analysis shows Montgomery County's greenhouse gas emissions decreased by 32% between 2005 and 2023. It occurred despite 16% population increase, and it equates to a 40% reduction in per capita emissions. That means that we're growing as a community while polluting less. By setting ambitious climate change goals, developing a nation-leading climate action plan, and then rapidly implementing the plan, Montgomery County is making real progress. There is still, however, much to be done to meet our goal of 100% reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by 2035. The government cannot bend the curve on climate change alone. I keep saying this over and over again, but I have to do it. We need every resident to take action in their day-to-day lives to reduce pollution, like installing solar panels, ride the bus instead of driving, and composting their food scraps. The county is here to help with our Climate Smart program of county resources for easy, everyday climate actions. Anyone can access those resources through montgomerycountymd.gov/climate-smart. On Monday, June 8th, I'm hosting a virtual event at 4 p.m. focused on greenhouse gas emissions and data collected by the Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments. I'll be joined by our climate officer and the Department of Environmental Protection. They'll also be going through this data collected by Metropolitan Washington Council of Governments. I'm proud of the way our community takes action and leads the conservation efforts, from our pace-setting adoption of electric vehicles to food scrap recycling in more and more locations across the county. Childcare in Montgomery County just got a real boost. This week we announced the first group of awardees from our new Early Care and Education Facility Loan Program. Nearly 200 new children openings are coming to our county. Childcare providers have been operating on a broken business model for years. They don't have the capital to fix, expand, or upgrade their facilities, or to modernize. We decided to do something about that. Through this program, we're offering forgivable loans, 0% interest loans, so providers can grow and improve. In just the first round, we received more than 100 applications, which tells you everything you need about how badly this was needed. We're funding 19 projects totaling a little bit more than $2.6 million, with most of the investment going toward expansion in areas of the county where childcare options are hardest to find. We launched the ECE Facility Loan Program last October to support both family childcare providers and childcare centers and help them increase their license capacity. These upgrades will enhance the quality of programs provided to children and create additional safe, nurturing learning environments for our kids. Investing in our youngest residents yields the greatest return for our families, for our workforce, and for our community's future. When parents have access to stable, high-quality childcare, they can work. When they can work, our whole community is stronger. On Monday, we celebrated 4 new county laws strengthening protections for the county's immigrant population. I want to thank the County Council for their work on these bills to solidify the values we share. We are not complicit in ICE activity, and these measures make it more difficult for ICE to continue its illegal mission and for us to better protect the innocent people they're targeting in their immigration raids. I wrote about each new law in my newsletter last week. I encourage you to sign up for Montgomery Update and have it delivered right to your inbox each week. Find that link at montgomerycountymd.gov/EXEC. The bottom line is that we have a segment of our population that's terrified by what illegal activities the federal government might do, targeting people who are awaiting asylum decisions and separating families inhumanely. These new laws will help rebuild trust so people are not afraid to go to work or send their kids to school. All residents deserve that peace of mind, and I'm glad we're standing united in solidarity and opposed to the fascist policies that seek to vilify legal immigration. This week, we celebrated Caribbean American Heritage Month here at the Leggett Office Building in Rockville. Montgomery County is home to nearly 20,000 Caribbean Americans who play a large role here in Montgomery County. For generations, Haitians, Jamaicans, Trinidadians, Dominicans, and other Caribbean-born residents have helped each other find a home here by passing along information about immigration and about vital public resources that elevate the whole community. The Gilchrist Immigrant Resource Center is a vital tool helping with that mission. Churches are one of the strongest networks within the Caribbean American community. They help preserve Caribbean values while supporting nationwide and international efforts to help those in crisis. Caribbean Americans also account for hundreds of businesses in Montgomery County. Through our business center, the county is focused on helping small businesses obtain grants and support their development so they can be dependable job providers for years to come. Caribbean Americans have helped build a strong international marketplace here in the DMV that caters to our diverse population, and that is something to be proud of. Join us Sunday in downtown Silver Spring for the annual Caribbean Heritage Festival. It runs from 1 to 9 p.m. and features live music, a market, and a great spread of food. Festival attendance is free, but you can reserve a spotlight online at silverspringdowntown.com. That's a wrap for today. I hope you have a great week, and I'll be back again next week.